Have you ever wondered how you can maximize the efficiency of your SQL server? The answer lies in understanding and leveraging the query store. This powerful feature is a game changer when it comes to performance tuning. It records query execution history and metrics, providing an invaluable resource for database professionals. Imagine having the ability to monitor, troubleshoot, and optimize your database performance with a high level of precision. That's exactly what the query store offers. It gives you a detailed performance data of executed queries, enabling deep analysis of query execution and performance characteristics over time. It's like having a time machine that allows you to analyze trends and changes in query performance. The query store is not just a tool. It's your ally in maintaining a smooth, efficient, and reliable database system. The query store, in essence, is your key to unlocking optimal database performance. Now, you might ask, what makes the query store such a powerful tool in SQL Server? Let's dive into its key features. Firstly, the query store provides performance insights. It collects detailed performance data on executed queries, which allows for deep analysis of query execution and performance characteristics over time. Secondly, it retains a query performance history. This means it keeps a history of query execution plans and their performance, making it possible to analyze trends and changes in query performance. Thirdly, it aids in plan regression detection. Query Store helps in identifying plan regressions after updates or changes to statistics, allowing DBAs to quickly revert to previous execution plans if newer ones cause performance issues. Next, it becomes a crucial troubleshooting tool, enabling DBAs to quickly find and fix performance problems caused by query plan changes. Moreover, it facilitates performance tuning. With historical data, it's easier to perform performance tuning as Query Store identifies the most resource-intensive queries. Furthermore, it ensures workload stability. By forcing the use of specific query execution plans, Query Store can help maintain workload stability across SQL Server upgrades and migrations. Additionally, it aids in establishing performance baselines, which are crucial for understanding the impact of changes to databases or the system. The Query Store also plays a critical role in server upgrades and migration. When upgrading SQL Server or migrating to a new server, Query Store can help in validating that query performance remains consistent. It also creates an optimization feedback loop. Query Store closes the feedback loop for the query optimizer by providing real-world performance data that can be used for optimizing queries. Simplified management is another feature of the Query Store. It simplifies the management of query optimization statistics and execution plans, providing a centralized view. Capacity planning is another key feature. Analysis of historical query data can help in capacity planning and forecasting for future growth and performance needs. Lastly, it integrates with tools. Query Store integrates with other SQL Server performance tools like Extended Events and SQL Server Management Studio, making it part of a comprehensive performance monitoring and troubleshooting solution. With these features, Query Store becomes a comprehensive solution for performance monitoring and troubleshooting. Knowing the features is one thing, but how do you maximize the use of Query Store? Let's talk about best usage practices. Firstly, it's essential to enable Query Store. Remember, it's not activated by default. Instead, it's enabled on a per-database level. This can be done either through SQL Server Management Studio or with TSQL commands. Once enabled, it's time to configure Query Store for your specific needs. This configuration process takes into account factors like data retention, data flush intervals, maximum storage size, and the types of queries you want to capture. This could be all queries or just those that exceed certain thresholds. Once Query Store is enabled and configured, it's time to set appropriate retention settings. It's a balancing act. You want to retain enough data to assist with performance tuning and troubleshooting, but not so much that it gobbles up all your disk space. So, what's the solution? Regularly review the storage size and configure cleanup policies. This will ensure Query Store doesn't run out of space and continues to function optimally. Now, with Query Store up and running, it's time to start monitoring performance. Regular checks of the Query Store will allow you to identify high resource-consuming queries. This is where the real magic happens. With this information at your fingertips, you can start to troubleshoot and optimize your database performance effectively. Keep in mind, these aren't one-time steps. They are ongoing practices that need to be incorporated into your regular database administration tasks. Continual monitoring, adjustment, and fine-tuning will allow you to get the most out of Query Store and ultimately your SQL Server environment. These initial steps will set you on the path to effectively utilizing the Query Store. We've started on the right foot with Query Store. Now let's continue with more best usage practices. When it comes to performance monitoring, the Query Store is your best friend. It's the Sherlock Holmes of your SQL Server, always keeping a sharp eye on the performance of your queries. Start by scheduling regular checks of the Query Store. This practice helps you identify high-resource consuming queries. Think of it like a regular health checkup. By catching these resource hogs early, you can prevent them from causing significant slowdowns in your database performance. Now let's talk about the 3 R's of performance monitoring: review, record, and resolve. First, review the performance data captured by the Query Store. This includes the execution plans, runtime statistics, and other metrics. Look for any anomalies or trends that might indicate a problem. Second, record your findings. Noting down the details of your review helps you track changes over time. It's like keeping a diary of your database's performance. This historical data can be invaluable for troubleshooting and performance tuning in the future. Third, resolve any issues you find. If you spot a query that's consuming too many resources or taking too long to execute, don't just shrug it off. Take action. Analyze the execution plan, adjust the query, or consider other optimization techniques. Another vital practice is to maintain a performance baseline. A performance baseline is like a snapshot of your database's optimal performance. It helps you understand the impact of any changes or updates, and it's crucial for capacity planning. Last but not least, integrate the Query Store with other performance monitoring tools. This can provide a more holistic view of your database's performance. Tools like Extended Events and SQL Server Management Studio can work hand in hand with the Query Store, creating a comprehensive performance monitoring and troubleshooting solution. In conclusion, the Query Store is a powerful tool that can help you maximize the efficiency of your SQL Server. But like any tool, it's only as good as how you use it. So make sure to follow these best practices to get the most out of it. Regular monitoring is the final piece of the puzzle in maximizing the use of Query Store. Now that we've covered the ins and outs of Query Store, let's wrap up with some key points. A critical feature of SQL Server Query Store acts as a performance tuning wizard. It collects and retains detailed query performance data, allowing you to delve deep into execution history and performance trends. It's also your go-to tool for identifying plan regressions and troubleshooting performance issues. Query Store aids in performance tuning by identifying resource-intensive queries and maintaining workload stability. It helps establish performance baselines and ensures query performance consistency during server upgrades and migrations. We also discussed how Query Store simplifies management of query optimization statistics and execution plans, assists in capacity planning, and integrates seamlessly with other SQL Server tools. Best usage practices include enabling Query Store at a per-database level, configuring it for your needs, setting appropriate data retention settings, and regularly checking it for high-resource consuming queries. Remember, the Query Store is more than just a tool. It's your ally in maintaining and improving SQL Server efficiency. In this new scene, we will delve into using Query Store in high-availability scenarios. This includes understanding how always-on availability groups work with Query Store. Remember, the Query Store needs to be enabled on each replica where you want to collect query performance data. When dealing with failover considerations, it's important to note that the Query Store data on the secondary will not automatically fail over to the new primary. This could impact your troubleshooting and performance tuning efforts after a failover. Backup and recovery are integral parts of maintaining your SQL Server environment. Query Store data is included in database backups by default. Make sure that this data is part of your backup and recovery strategy. Regular testing of backups that include Query Store data is essential to ensure that you can recover it when needed. Security is another critical aspect. You need to control access to the Query Store data as it can contain sensitive information about the queries being run. This is part of your broader SQL Server security strategy. Regular maintenance of your Query Store is crucial to keep it clean and running efficiently. Set up jobs to flush data to disk and clean up stale data. Lastly, never underestimate the power of documentation and training. Make sure to subscribe, share, and like my channel for more such enlightening content. And don't forget to share these insights with your colleagues. Stay focused, keep learning, and let Query Store be your ally in enhancing SQL Server efficiency.